Hello guys. If I ask you what is the most important skill that you need when it comes to UPSC mains, majority of you will tell me that it's answer writing, and some of you may tell note making or the content or the current affair or revision, right? All are important. Now, even if you ask your mentors also, they will tell you it's about answer writing, right? But if you look at it, all of these are originating from one fundamental skill, that is thinking. Because if you have better thinking, that can create definitely better notes and a better understanding and better answers and better flow when you're writing the answer if your thought process are correct, and that will eventually reward you with the better marks. And unfortunately, this is the skill, the thinking, that is a skill that most of you ignore, or many of the mentors also ignore, or most of the coaching institute never teach. I've seen the coaching institute, they give you the content, right? If you have paid for them, they teach you the content, they give you the notes, they give you the test series, but no one teach how to think like a UPSC ranker, or how to think like an evaluator, or how to think like what the evaluator or UPSC is expecting from you from this particular question. And that's exactly what I want to discuss in this video. See, first, let me tell you why most of the aspirants struggle when it comes to mains. Let's try to understand what actually happens in the examination hall. See, a 10 marker question is appearing in front of you. Now, you need to write 2 pages and you'll be getting 7 minutes. And if it is a 15 marker, roughly you will have to write 3 pages and you'll be getting around 11 minutes, right? Now, think about this. Even if I ask you, write 2 pages about yourself, you will need 5 to 6 minutes. So, in a UPSC question, right, you have only around 1 minute extra, right? Or you will be getting that 1 minute to understand the question, to understand the keywords, to underline the keywords, generate points on that, and to create a proper structure which can impress the examiner, or which is according to the demand of the question, and to decide the introduction of that particular question which is given, to give the context of that question, and to decide what is going to be the conclusion, body, structure, and everything. So you hardly get that 1 minute to decide this, and then 5 6 minutes to write upon this, and then you start writing, right? And the real challenge, if you look at it, the problem is not the writing speed, the problem is thinking speed. Because if you have thought about this in the first 1 minute, then the content flow will come. If your thought process is correct, if you are thinking faster, your content flow will be there. So it's not ultimately about the writing speed, that you have to anyway practice during the mock test and other things. But if you have the right thinking, if your thinking speed is there, then your writing won't be a big problem, because the flow will be automatic. Just that you need to train your muscle memory for writing. Right now, what is the biggest mistake when it comes to answer writing? See, most of the students follow the process, right? They look at the question, you see a particular question, and immediately start answer writing the answer without thinking too much about it. And then what happens? You start writing random points on whatever is asked, and you may give lengthy, long introduction, which may go even out of the context also. And when you have given such kind of introduction, you may deviate. And if you're looking at your structure or your body part, that will be weak. And there may not be time for conclusion, or you may be missing on the conclusion. And if you look at the connectors or the flow of your answer, it won't be looking that, attractive, or it will be good. It will not be good, right? So after completing the answer only, you will be realizing this point should have came earlier, or I'm missing on this dimension which has been asked in the question, but I've already concluded and the page is also over, and I forgot to give better example. If you have experienced this in your last mains, or when you're taking the mocks, then you have to change your strategy, right? It might sound familiar to most of you, might have missed something, you might have missed one dimension which has been asked in the answer, right? Some points you might have missed. Now, why this is happening? Because you're not thinking and you're not structuring the answer before you're writing the answer, because writing actually started before thinking. But what rankers do differently? See, I have mentored thousands of students, and last year also, if you look at my toppers, in the first 100, we have Vikas 27th rank, really good score in mains, and Rohin 39th rank. He scored very well in mains. And Kiran, in his sixth and last attempt, he scored exceptionally well in mains, and an improvement of 78 mark he did with our mains companion and mentorship program in mains, 53rd rank. Sonali, 89th rank. So I've seen these. And Sachin last year, 41st rank. He have written almost 5,000 answers, and we have closely evaluated also. So they spend time differently. They start before writing, they start thinking, right? So they mentally break the question. So what they will ask in that first 1 minute is, this is what we have taught them, and this is what exactly they will do also before writing the answer. So writing is the second part. Thinking is the first part. So in that first 1 minute, you should think what UPSC is asking, what is the demand in this question, and what are the different dimensions has been asked, and what I need to cover, and what framework or structure which I need to use, which approach. I've discussed with you many approaches in which you can answer a question, right? So which approach, which structure, which framework I should be using here, and what should be my introduction, so that straight away I'm going into the context of the question, and what should be my conclusion in this, what kind of suggestion I should give, what kind of balance I have to maintain in this particular question. So that structured thinking process, that create a huge mark difference. And this is how someone who's average and someone who's topper, who's coming in 100th rank, will be different, and someone who's scoring very good in GS will be different. And this is exactly what I've seen from my toppers, because I'm evaluating so many papers, and those who are coming in the top also I've seen, those who are left out despite having very good knowledge also I have seen. So that is why I'm telling you, if you follow this, you can never go wrong, or you can never write a bad answer. If you spend 1 minute to now, this will become automatic when you start doing this process for quite some time, right? For a few mock tests, if you're doing this, understand in the question what UPSC is asking, what is the demand of the question, what are the dimensions in the question, what framework I need to use. We have structured frameworks, right, for different types of questions, for different keywords. For example, critical analysis, we need to go in this way. If it is discuss, we need to go in this way. If it is comment, we need to go in this way. And what should be my introduction? What should be my conclusion? What balance I have to make? If you are very clear with this, then it's done. You cannot go wrong, or you cannot get less mark on that particular question, because content is there with everyone who have cleared the prelims and writing the mains. There is no problem with the content. Now, one more thing that I want to tell you is many students still ignore previous year questions. They depend so much on previous year question for prelims, but ignore for mains. That is the strongest point that you should actually have, right? So see, why should I solve PYQ? That is, in fact, I have seen many students ask me, should I solve PYQ? Will that actually repeat, especially in mains? Prelims, we have so much scope. With mains, when it comes to, it's a vast syllabus, and hardly 20 questions will come. And from a subject, hardly 4 or 5 questions will come. So should I look at or solve previous year question? Rather than asking that, what I tell my mentees is, or I will tell you why you should solve PYQ. It is not because the questions will repeat, right? The themes will repeat, the thinking pattern will repeat. So the themes definitely will repeat, and we have seen multiple times. We know what is the favorite area of UPSC. We understand how UPSC asks question and what kind of dimensions they want, what kind of structure they want. So they won't repeat word to word, word for word, but they can definitely see thinking pattern will repeat. UPSC definitely change the wording, but the themes will be repeating, recurring. And UPSC change examples, UPSC change the context, but UPSC rarely changes its thinking, right? See, when you solve PYQs, it teaches you one thing for sure: how UPSC ask, how UPSC think, and what UPSC is expecting from you. So how you'll get that, how you get the mindset of UPSC or the examiner, only through previous year questions. So that is very important. This is far more important than memorizing answers or just getting, random content. Right. So after solving hundreds of PYQs, then you will start noticing something. Different questions, but the underlying structure is going to be the same. Different topics, but same thinking pattern. Right. So, for example, you see a question on personalities, right? Relevance of Mahatma Gandhi in present times. So, most students will write truth, non-violence, Swaraj, and they stop it there. But what is the real demand? Relevance in present times. Now comes the structured thinking process. This is where the structured thinking begins. Instead of random answer writing, you have to go with a stakeholder level thinking. So, you can, again, individual level, you talk about bread labor, health, work ethics, lifestyle. Societal level, inclusion, equality, social harmony, Article 17 and SC/ST protections. And government level, you'll talk about self-reliance, right? Atmanirbhar Bharat, decentralization. And global level, you talk about peace, dialogue, conflict resolution, not an era of war. And corporate sector, right? So that is what I mean by stakeholder approach. A different approach we have. So if you go with stakeholder approach, all these dimensions automatically will come. Again, corporate sector, trusteeship, CSR, ethical capitalism, different dimensions. Environment, if you take need versus greed, sustainable development, life mission. Notice something here. Nothing here is new information for you. What is the difference? Difference is you got a better organization of the existing information, and that's exactly what UPSC rewards you. So this is how your thinking process should go. So what is the stakeholder model? This is actually one of the most powerful answer writing framework. Whenever a question seems difficult, what you need to do is ask yourself, who are the stakeholders? So what are the possible stakeholders? Individual, family. So first, start from micro. Micro means the lowest level, individual. Then the next level, family. Then number of individual, family. Number of families, society. So that's the next level. So individual, family, society, and then government. And there we have a private sector, we have vulnerable groups, we have international community, we have the environment. So immediately your answer becoming multi-dimensional, right? Now I'll tell you how UPSC repeat the themes. See, look at the questions. I cannot show here. I don't have the PDF exactly. Troposphere and weather, very important area. Mountain ranges and climate, El Nino, cryosphere, volcanic eruption. So here the students think of 5 different topics. But actually what UPSC is asking, explain the impact of geographical phenomena on environment and climate. Same theme, different packaging, right? Just that they asked in a different way, but the theme was same. Explain the impact of geographical phenomena on environment and climate. So this is again, there is another powerful framework which I can give you. That's the component model. Very important framework, very powerful framework. Suppose UPSC is asking you any climate related question. Any climate related question. Now your brain should already have components ready. What are the components which is related to climate? Temperature, pressure, humidity, winds, ocean currents, cloud formation, geographical features, human activity. Now, whatever phenomena UPSC give you, whether it is El Nino or volcano or glacier or troposphere, you fit into these components. You got my point, right? So suddenly your answer generation is also going to be easy. Your thought process is also going to be easy. You will not be missing any dimension, right? This is what I mean by component model, especially it work when it comes to questions related to, environment, right? Any climate related question. So what are the components you think of when it comes to a climate related question, whether it is El Nino, volcano? See, forget about these words, these questions, these terms. Is it climate related? Then think about component approach. Temperature, pressure, humidity, winds, ocean currents, cloud formation, geographical feature, human activity. These are the components. So the content will come, the flow will come, the points will come, the dimensions will come. So your answer is going to be content rich in this case. You don't want to waste your time also. You won't get stuck in a random answer or random points also. Now, why most of the students feel blank? Because they try to remember answers. If you try to remember answer for, one by one, El Nino, you study one answer and you try to remember. Volcano, glacier, if you separately remember, then it is going to be very difficult. And that's where you're actually making it complicated. You feel blank also. You cannot do that. So rather you have this, framework, you have the structure. Now you'll fit question into that, right? Just fit these components into that particular question. This is exactly what you need to do. So what the rankers, what my toppers did, they remember the frameworks. So we teach them the framework. They remember the framework. And that's the huge difference. Rather than independently or separately remembering all the questions and its answers, it is impossible humanly if you look at the vast syllabus. This makes huge difference. So what an average aspirants do is, I hope UPSC asks something that I've studied. But what the real topper, the ranker think, you may get to know this after 3, 4, 5 attempt, maybe in the 6th attempt. Don't waste the time. Understand it now, even if you're a first attempter. And that's the reason why, even though these are premium programs, I'm discussing this here in YouTube. So what the ranker will think, give me any question, I have a framework, I'll fit into that. Give me any question related to climate, I have a component model which has been taught by Safir sir, and then I'm going to put it into that. I'm done. And that mindset, that create difference and that create confidence also. And that confidence will definitely get rewarded. Now, what are the thinking models? Now, you might be thinking, right? So instead of memorizing thousands of answers, right, develop a small number of thinking frameworks. Now, what are they? First, I have already discussed stakeholder approach, and now I hope all of you understood. And then we have a component model that also I have discussed. Then you can have a cause and effect model. Then we have a constitutional model, similar way. And then we have an ethical model. We have a historical model. We have an evolutionary model. In essay, we discuss about pastoral approach, political, societal, administrative, technological, economic dimensions, right? We have a governance model. We have a comparative model. And then almost every question is going to fit into any of this. And if you can do that, your thinking can be like this, means every question becomes easily manageable rather than studying one by one by one. No, that's not the case. That's impossible. Now, this also will change your note making process, and that will help you in very much in revision also. See, most students think this only help in answer writing. That's not the case. It improves your note making also, because everything is now going to overlap. Because once you know how UPSC asks questions, you automatically know what UPSC is expecting from you. Now your note becomes more shorter, more relevant, and more exam oriented. So your notes will have a relevant content, and that will help you in the first revision, second revision, third revision, and you will be very familiar with that. So this thinking, if it is giving you clarity, your flow will be there. Your content also will be very, very much flow, like it will flow just like anything. Writing speed is a secondary thing. It will come naturally. So I hope now you understood the bigger reason why the toppers score so high when it comes to GS. It is not because they know more. You know the same thing. He know the same thing. Rohin or Vikas or Kiran. Kiran improved 80 marks in GS from last year to this year. Sixth attempt. That many answers also he have written. He changed this entire framework of thinking. Sonali. See, many aspirants, if you look at most of the aspirants, out of 10,000 giving mains, 6 to 7,000 possess a similar content. They're putting the similar hard work. Everyone is willing to study because everyone know next year I'm not going to clear prelims. So everyone is willing to work that much. Everyone is getting all the materials available in the world. Access to materials is also not a difficulty here, right? The difference is the retrieval. Can you retrieve relevant points quickly? Can you think like the way I've told you? Can you organize them quickly? Can you present them quickly? And that's what reward you. That what is going to create the mark. So what is the mains formula? If you want to have high score, we need, of course, the content. Now we need proper thinking and we need a structure. And I've given you already that thought process and the structure. And we need a proper presentation. And all these need to be done in time-bound manner. So we have the content, thinking, structure, presentation, and time management. And most students focus only on what? They focus on the first component, that is the content. You keep on reading without focusing on the other things. But rankers, they focus on all fives. So I want to say these are the 5 pillars upon which your mains is built. If you only focus on one pillar, then if others are weak, you are bound to collapse. So what should you do now? The prelims is over. Now, before joining endless test series here, there, before going to endless mentors, you first learn how to think, then how to structure, then how to write. And only after that, join this test series and start writing. Because, hello? Hello? Right. So, what we were talking about. So, first, learn to think and then structure, then write, and then go over the test series. Because, you know, just content and going for test series, that is actually incomplete. If from the content, you develop content, directly you're taking the test means, rest of the things you are missing. You don't know what going to be the structure. After answer writing and after test series, if you try to improve, then it is going to be difficult. So learn this, how to write answer, how to structure your answer and all those, and how to think properly. Once you're done with that, then you will be complete. Otherwise, you are missing that gaps, you are missing that bridge, and it is complete, it is incomplete. So what is missing here in that case? The structured thinking. And that bridge that actually decide whether you are going to get 80 mark in your GS paper or 120, 130, 125 marks in your paper, whether you're going to get 400 or you're going to get 500. So that's the difference. Okay, so let me leave you one final thought and you can work upon that. See, UPSC mains is not testing your memory. In fact, you have enough content. UPSC mains is testing organized thinking under pressure. You're under pressure, you have time pressure, you have speed pressure, you have so much of, you are already under pressure. And during that time itself, you have to organize. As I told you, different components you'll have to deliver. Anybody can collect content, anybody can study, and everybody is doing that. Anybody can get the PDFs, anybody can make notes, but very few aspirants, they train themselves to think quickly, logically, and multidimensionally. And that is why the real skill in UPSC mains writing, mains is not answer writing, not the speed. The real skill is actually thinking before writing. And once that thinking becomes structured, if it is organized, then the better answer become almost automatic. You don't want to put a lot of strain for that. It becomes natural, that flow will come, it becomes automatic, and it becomes essential, right? So these are the points that I want to discuss, and if you would like to join our mentorship or classes or test series, get in touch with us. I see you there.